I used to smoke weed for like 10 to 12 years. I slowed down in the last few years and ultimately had to quit altogether because I kept having worse and worse reactions. But for the first 9-ish years of that stretch I smoked all the time. I got busted a few times growing up and had a few close calls as well. This was mid-2000s when it was illegal everywhere. This particular time me and my high school friend went to a Jack Johnson concert and he decided to meet some friends he met playing Halo on Xbox Live. One of the two guys we met there had a book bag absolutely filled with paraphernalia and a massive bag of weed. I had some as well, but my bag was considerably smaller and I had joint papers. The opening act was finishing and we were standing side by side in a line as Jack Johnson came on the stage. One of the Xbox guys immediately pulled out a huge blunt, sparked it, and passed it down the line. There were plenty families around us, and clearly we were young and dumb and didn't think this whole situation through. I had started to roll a joint with both hands in my hoodie pocket as discreet as possible, which hardly mattered since there were giant clouds of blunt smoke rising from our group. They tried to pass me the blunt but my hands were full, so I said, "Pass it past me." They did. About 15 seconds later a very strong hand closes around my upper arm from behind, and a bunch of plainclothes cops with badges hanging around their neck emerged out of the crowd all at once and got all of us dead to rights. They immediately dragged us away to a back area with plastic chairs around a fold-out table and sat us down. I didn't dare ditch my weed while I was walking because I had no clue how many cops there were watching me and I didn't want them to see me drop it. So I sit down at this table and they start tearing apart this guy's book bag. They were kind of talking shit to us and talking about how they were going to charge us and pulling out the weed and paraphernalia. While all of this is going on, I feel the bottom of the table and realize it has little grooves in it where the legs are supposed to fit when it's folded up. Miraculously they hadn't searched me yet, they were distracted by the book bag and arguments. So underneath the table I pulled my weed bag out of my pocket, crunched it into the tiniest ball I could, then held it up into one of the grooves with as much pressure as possible without lifting the table or seeming suspicious. I held it there for probably 30 seconds then let go, and it did not fall. But I was still shitting my pants. I can't remember what happened with the joint papers, it was just so long ago. But I do remember my friend I came with was absolutely panicking at this point, begging the cops to have mercy because none of the stuff was his. And the undercover cops said, "We saw you hold it and hit it, so that's poses Zion." And my friend looked like he was about to cry, extremely distraught. At this moment I looked at the cops and confidently said, "Hey, did any of you see me touch the weed?" Because I told them to pass it past me and I didn't touch it. There was a silence as all of them looked at each other, then one guy pointed at me and said, "Well, you're lucky." "But you," and went on reaming the other guys. Soon they stood me up and searched me, and I was clean. My friend was so upset he immediately drove home and fessed up to his parents. I had to get a ride home from Xbox Kids and told a slightly tempered version of the story to my parents. I didn't get in trouble this time.